with another introduction of sorts with I guess, a longtime member.
Yes.
And we're not sure if he's still a member because we'll get into that story. This is Arthur. Arthur,
yes.
Great to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you, Mike.
Nice to meet you too. So, I guess we'll just start off with how long have you been a member of the club, if you remember?
I think I was a member shortly after I bought the car, which was 2002.
Okay, so that's already a figure here. He's not the original owner of the car behind us, which we'll get to in a minute. So, do you remember what was the prompt to get you to join? What attracted the club to you?
It attracted to me because I think I met Jeff also around the same time, and he was a big reason, that I joined the club.
Yeah, so he found you and he sort of sucked you in into the club. Like, I think he's done several members already, probably hundreds, if not maybe thousands of people. He's sucked into the club just because he's a friendly guy and he knows a lot about the BMWs and cars and whatnot.
That's right.
And he sucked you in.
Yep.
All right, so without further ado, why don't we get into this beautiful example of, I think, everyone's dream car, the E30 M3. So you mentioned that you picked it up in 2002. Do you remember what was the attractiveness of the car to you? What made you want to go out and get this particular E30 M3?
Yeah, it's interesting because back when I was probably in high school, my neighbor actually had a red one.
Ooh.
Yes, back when I was in high school, my neighbor had a red one, and I really thought it was a cool car. And then of course, I read a little bit more about it and know all the history, the winning history of the car, in European Tour car championships.
Right. So I'll pause you right there. So I think there's a movie about the E30 M3 in Europe. I believe it's called Adrenaline, but I'll look that up. So I've seen the movie. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, actually.
All right, so I'll put a link up to it. It might be on Amazon Prime, but I definitely have a DVD of that one. So I'll put a link in the description to that.
All
right, so basically it's an award-winning car. It's fast.
Yep.
It's great to drive.
Yep.
And you'd seen one before. So how long? So high school. I'm not gonna say how old you are, but many years elapsed between that and getting it. So was it a long process of trying to track down the right one?
Yes, that certainly was. I remember probably test driving about 5 or 6 of these, and there were, but a lot of them, when you drive them, you just feel that the car didn't feel right. They were tracked, they were beaten up, so it was hard to find a decent example of it that also was at least within my price range. And part of the reason attracted me to this car was because of the prior owner when I spoke with him. I probably still have his information somewhere. He lives actually in the San Jose area.
Okay.
And he was the first owner. And I think he may have brought the car all the way from Boston. And so, I was telling Jeff this early this morning, he was telling me that his wife actually didn't want him to sell the car because that was the first car that they got together. And I think that was the car that they dated in. Let's put it that way.
So it's got a lot of sentimental value to that couple.
Yeah, to that couple.
Understandable.
Yeah, understandable. Except that the guy, when he sold it, he was making room for a new car. That was an Audi S4, I think.
Oh no, we won't talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. But yeah, I mean, so it was my luck, I guess. And he was the first owner, and so that was one thing that I was looking for was looking for a car that was well taken care of by
and hopefully a single owner, right?
Yes, and hopefully, and he was a single owner, and he had the car. I think he sold me when I bought the car. I think had about 92,000 miles on it already.
So what year is this? What year is the car?
I think it's 88.
88.
It's an 88. So it's one of the earlier versions of the car.
Awesome. All right, so you picked it up in 2002 about. So what did you do with it within the club? Did you take it to say something like autocross or?
Yes. So that was another couple of reasons that I joined the club.
Yeah. So we can walk around this way. So I think autocross is a big lure into the club too.
Yep.
And we noticed, just walking around, you can obviously the Apex racing wheels, which are beneficial for autocross and HPDE.
Yep.
And I think they look fantastic on the car. So autocross was sort of the thing that you wanted to do with this car.
Yep.
Did you do anything else in terms, maybe an HPD event?
I think I tracked a car once, and that was in Thunderhill.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a great experience. I was just telling Jeff this morning that was something that, I would consider doing again. I want to go to Laguna Seca. I don't think I ever made it there.
Right. So
Some point down the road.
I know you'd mentioned it. So work has taken him abroad, and you've loved this car so much.
Yep.
You've kept it at this secret chateau location in Woodside,
Yes.
which really isn't that secret if you know Jack, but that's where it's been in storage. So you keep it here, and every time you visit, you take it out for a drive and fall back in love with the car, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Jeff knows. I mean, he had a car, and I I have to say that I'm so fortunate to have him as a friend because, I mean, he's essentially the car's godfather, right?
Right.
I mean, he had his own, and then I guess he moved on, but yeah, I think he treated this car like his own. So
he does. I think Jeff will always say it's probably one of the many cars I guess, that got away from him.
Yeah.
That he wish he could have back, and he's fortunate enough to have it basically in his garage year round.
Yeah.
And for visitation rights for you when you come back and visit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he has the custody rights essentially. Yeah.
Right. So you've done the Apex racing wheels. What else? I mean, if you remember, what else have you done to modify the car?
Yeah, I think it has a ground control setup, so iBox springs and Coney shocks. I think. I put in the. I think I changed. I stiffened the sway bars.
Mm-hmm.
There is a strut bar in the front, and I think may have probably done the. I think I did the cams. I think I did a 284, 276 setup cam.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's I think basically what I've done. I mean, I changed the steering wheel.
Why don't we open up the steering wheel? Obviously, is in stock.
Yeah.
I believe BMWs of this era, the roundel wasn't colored in. I think, right?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So so basically the car is pretty much stock. I mean, I haven't done a whole lot to it.
We got our requisite 5-speed manual transmission.
Yep, that thing is buzzing like crazy still. Yeah, that's one of the characteristics of this car.
Yeah, and the other characteristic, you can see everything's sort of slanted towards the driver. So you got the controls right there at your fingertips instead of more. They're still sort of slanted, but not to this extent anymore.
To that extent, yes, that's right. Yeah.
And we got back seats.
Yep.
Of course. I don't know if anyone's going to fit back there anymore.
Yeah. The everything is original still. I mean, so you look at the wear and tear in the seats.
But still in fairly good shape for a car that's what, 30 years old?
Almost 30 years old. Yeah, yeah. Actually, it is 30 years old. Yeah, it is 30 years.
Yeah. You can see when it was built. Yeah, April of '88.
Yep. Yep. So it's
look at the back. So reasonably sized kids can fit in the back, but that's probably about it.
Yep. That's
comfortably.
Yeah.
Awesome. And of course, we got the sunroof, moonroof, whatever they call it.
Yep. Originally, the car came with, I think, the owner swapped out the original wheels, and I think I still have the set that came with it, which is kind of a 5-star Racing Dynamics wheels, which I still have and I like. I think these are 17s, so those are 16s.
Okay.
But it still looks great on the car. I mean, what is that set or this set? I like this set a little bit more, but that set I kept, and I kind of gave me some nostalgia. I think every time I look at those and putting them back on. So
yeah, of course, nostalgia. You can see it's sort of a wide hip. I don't know if you can get it on camera, but very easy to spot the E30 M3 just because of the stance on the hips there.
Yep.
Very wide hips.
Yep.
And you've got a wing in the back as well.
Yep. The wing needs to get painted.
But yeah, for a 30-year-old car, things are going to happen like that. Of course,
that's right.
I'll put a picture in here. You can show it being used for its normal use, eating off the back end of the car, right?
Right, yeah.
We walk around the back. Back here. Right, and I think what I like most about this car is like the logo is just so huge because you go to the modern cars are much, much smaller. So it really sticks out that everyone will see this.
Yep.
This guy's driving the M3.
That's right. Yep. And like you said, the big hips also when you look whether you're looking at it from the back or the front. So
yeah, good. All right, so what do you think is the best thing you like about this car? What sticks out to you?
By far the handling. By far the handling. I mean, I took it out on the track, and even when you autocross and even just regular driving, you can just feel how neutral the car is. Obviously it doesn't have the power that the modern day cars have. But
Right.
but if you just take it up and down, 84 up, at Woodside, just up and down here, around here.
Or up and down Skyline Boulevard, which
Yep.
is that way.
Yeah.
And you'll notice a couple of M cars there. We won't talk about those ones.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just handles great. I mean, up and down, it's awesome.
And it revs really hot. I think
Yes.
that's where the smiles are at for you when you're driving it.
Yes, and I think that is still the one thing that really sticks out in my mind when I tested this car versus the other cars.
Mm-hmm.
Because this car, when when you rev up to about 5, 6, 7,000 RPM, it sounds like a jet engine almost. Seriously, like,
Yeah.
but when I test drove some of the other ones, it just didn't feel the same, and so that's how I knew that that was
Like,
the
this is the one.
that was the moment that I know that this is the car.
And that smile on your face.
Exactly.
It's like, this is it. I'm
Yep.
handing over all my cash for this car.
Yes. Yeah.
And now it's originally this car didn't really sell that well, which is really, really surprising, right?
Yeah.
So surprising, in fact, that BMW wasn't even going to bring in another M3, and it took a big campaign
Yeah.
by the CCA to get the E36 M3
Yep.
over here. So without that effort from the car club, maybe we don't have M3s at all
That's right.
after this one,
Yeah.
which is insane to think about nowadays,
Yep.
because everyone wants one of these cars.
Yeah, it still puts a smile on my face every time I come back and see it and drive it. So I love it. And like I was telling Jeff, I don't think I'll ever let this one go. So
Yeah, bad news for Jeff though, right?
well, actually,
I don't think he'd like it.
I think it's still good because for him, he gets to he basically gets it. He gets to keep it. He gets to drive it whenever he wants to. So yeah, and it's good for me too because while I'm still away, I mean I know somebody who knows the car and who takes really good care of the car.
Right, because
So.
he treats it just like one of his own. So if you know Jeff, he
Yep.
treats every car
Likes his own.
like its own king, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. So I think we'll almost end there. Maybe one more thing.
Yeah.
Arthur. So what do you think is the best thing about the car club?
I think the car club actually offers a lot of different benefits for members. So whether we're talking about going to do
Right.
autocross events, a lot of social events, right? And then the ability to get together with a group to go do whether you're doing driving lessons or because I've taken driving lessons through the club,
Right.
and also to go to track events, which I think is great because there are so many people who are so knowledgeable and they're so willing to share.
Yeah.
So I think those are
Yeah.
great things.
So what it comes down to, I think, is it's more about the people than the cars per se. So the
I-
cars sort of attract those people, and
Yeah.
fortunately, everyone in the club is really, really friendly and
Yeah.
helpful, knowledgeable.
Yeah.
You find all levels of expertise,
Yeah.
no matter what you seek out in the club.
Yeah, and I think the car is just a way to get the people together in a
Yeah.
way, and it's great that everybody loves the BMWs.
Yeah.
But I think again it's the people that
Yeah,
makes
people
it different.
like Jeff who will go out of his way to, take care of your car while you're overseas
Yep,
and make sure everything's running well.
that's right.
Arthur, hey man, it's great talking to
Yeah,
you.
great
Thanks
speaking
for
with you.
showing us around the E30.
Yep, thanks.
All right, see you guys.
All right.